questionnaire up for the astrology if you want twin flame readings, and I'm going to have a talk to you a little bit about twin flame paths because I do think that there's a lot of it's a hard one, and I'll wait for some people to connect, but we're going to have a little talk because my battery's pretty flat. It's just going to be short, sweet, and punchy, and then I'll come back again tomorrow. I do have clients again tomorrow. And yes, there is going to be new content. I'm updating YouTube. I'm updating all the other platforms, but I'm wanting to get it right, but I'm also wanting to get it to the point that we're all on the same page. So I'll wait for the twin flames to connect in. I'm out here in the evening. Hi all. Hello, my members. Those of you that have joined the members hub. I'm out here in the dark. So I want to have a bit of a chat to you. Now, I put the questionnaire up, and I think I may do this more often to really see in the coaching format, where you guys are on your twin flame path, how you're feeling about it, because it's good to really, check in and actually have a look at that. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my twin flame path, and also, some of the things and the tools I used. I'm in union, to get into union. So, those of you that are newbie subscribers, you don't know that, I am actually in union. I have been, for about 2 years now, maybe more. I can't remember now. Anyhow, and with that process, it has been a 20-year long journey. And I have learned a great deal. And the beautiful thing is, through my path and through my process, the tools that I've developed have been what's worked for me. And I have seen some synchronistic patterns coming through with my clientele. Now, the one thing is, a lot of you may wonder, what are the tools? And I know that we do, we might go onto YouTube, we might be looking at different videos. The one thing I never subscribed to was readings relating to what does my twin flame want to tell me. And I guess the reason why is, number one, I had some fantastic mentors at a pivotal point in my journey. You guys saw me from the very beginning. So those of you that have followed me, I started YouTube around, I think it was 2003 or 4. And I've been a psychic medium pretty much since I was a child. And around that time, I think a year prior, I had about, oh God, how many did I have? I had 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I was giving away free readings. And I had been developing that gift for a long time, where people had come to my door, they would drop coffee cups off, and I read in a multitude of ways. One, your guides would come to me very often, and they tell me what you need to know. And I've had a few clients that have booked readings and their guides come through, and they've been very adamant, no, I don't want to hear about that. But your guides tell you what you're meant to hear. I'll just be honest. So with that, generally, you're a twin flame from birth. I'll just say it. So you're on your twin flame path from birth. You will have one parent that is a little bit more complicated than the other, and they may exhibit energies very similar to your twin. They're training you, right? You need to take that training and implement it when it does come to the twin flame path. The other is breaking codependency. And Giga, what's that YouTuber's name? That is, she's a twin flame. She's written a book. What's her name? She's a great place to go when it does come to coaching. I do the coaching also. I'm in union. And she really coaches people on how to break the codependency, the work therapist. Big shout out to you, beautiful. Now, I promote that, and I'm on the same level as her psychologically, because the thing is, oh, my battery's going to die. I hope it doesn't. Otherwise, I'll have to go to the computer and we'll start again. The thing is, on the path you need to grasp is that you have to break codependency. You're not going to reach union unless you do that. Now, when it comes to tips, tools, and tricks, when I had my separation, I'm going to come into the light a bit more because it's a bit dark over there. When I came into my separation, I went into a dark night of the soul energy. I also went to a phase that, what would the word be? I wanted to leave YouTube, I'll be honest. And it wasn't because I don't love YouTube. I was having my own personal kind of process, physically speaking. I also felt very disillusioned. And then I remained because I didn't want to leave my subscribers. I didn't want you guys to feel as though I was tapping out. And the real thing is you can't leave your twin flame journey. That's the horrible part. You literally can't. So with that process, I kind of was looking for, what would the word be? I did a lot of meditation. I had two beautiful subscribers that got psychic readings from me, but they had separate gifts and they were coaching me, which I'm really going to ask them to come on the show. They're very good friends of mine. It's Luciana and Jen, and I was thinking about them today. And I mean, if you guys think I'm rough with you, these two females, they were hard. They were hard on me, and I bloody needed it because my ascension symptoms were absolutely horrendous. And I can't say I was a very codependent person. It wasn't that point. But I can say is that I was really determined to break cycles. There was no way in hell I was going to ever go back to being that sort of person. And with other people, I really wasn't. It was very much, in the twin flame path more so than anything. So when I went through that separation, those of you that do know me very well, you can look back to 2017-18. I was in separation for over 11 months, I believe. And I had nobody with me. My daughter moved out. I was living on my own. And I mean, I was eating, sleeping, and living YouTube. And I was sharing my process, but there were many times what you guys didn't see was me crying on the floor, feeling like I couldn't handle it. And it all started around 2012, where I was going through probably my awakening stage. Now, I was seeing 555s everywhere. Most of you guys are going into that energy now. So if you have only just got to a certain point in your journey, 2021 can be really interesting for you, and it can feel very frightening, but not because I'm setting you up sort of thing. I'm just going to explain the fives. Now, the fives, I had a separation. I had a change of job. I had change of home. I mean, you name it. Everything in my life was changing. It was very frightening. I was uprooting everything and I was doing everything alone. And it was funny. It was almost like the Hermit card in the Tarot. There was absolutely nothing for me to go back to. So it was like every step I was moving, every step behind me was going away. So when we did move back into communication and union, I was completely in detachment. And when I say, a lot of us ask that question, what does detachment mean? Detachment means you are so disillusioned by the whole thing that you have literally thought about it so many ways. You are no longer looking at it in any shape or form to understand, to manipulate. And I wouldn't say manipulate, to micromanage, or maybe, hi, Stefan, to think about how you're going to change that circumstance. And I might have to jump in and grab my charger, I think. So I might chat away. Twin's sleeping. I don't really want to wake him because, this is pretty important we talk about this. I'm going to go get my charger. Just walk into the house. I can't send my daughter in. He'd scream. Bear with me 5 minutes. Those moments you do things in the dark, it just doesn't work. I've got a 2-story house and I've got hickeys all over my neck, so forgive me. That was another thing. Didn't want to trigger anyone, but, shit happens. Okay, so let's get into the office and we will put the charger on. So from that point, basically, I had been, oh God, I don't even have my computer up here. Well, I do, but it's out there. I'll plug you in and I'll sit down and we'll have a chat. So where was I at, Giggle? Where was I at in the matrix of it? I'll probably blow my phone up now. So anyhow, now the big challenge for me has been, when I did have my separation, as I mentioned, I had 2 lovely subscribers, Jen and Luciana, big shout out to you, and they were my mentors. So purging happened daily. Any codependency I had no one to depend on. It was very much me, business, YouTube. Daughter had moved out, and I was spending a great deal of time on YouTube. Now, yes, I can honestly say when you're purging, you really don't want to trigger anyone, number one, because you're being there yourself. Number two is, how is that going to serve if I was going to do that? There was one video most recently I did share in the members zone, and that was to show my old subscribers or whoever was in there, look, this is where Yildiz was at. So in no form was I perfect. I had a very large trigger moment, and it was where I had absolutely had enough. I was really peeved. I was looking at the journey and I was mad. And the reason I was mad, Madhaba, is due to the fact that, how can I explain it? You felt the energy psychically, but then at a process in your journey, you feel it from everyone. So you're like, there's no reprieve. You're doing your ascension work. And I've noticed patterns. So the patterns that I do, I coach that. But the thing is, you can't reach, from my experience, union until you can purge codependency. Also, to be in mission is focusing on your life. Okay, so by focusing on your life, you are effectively breaking codependency. Now, the one thing I have noticed is when we reached union, hi Chris, when we reached union, anyway, I was going back in old patterns, especially with your nodes in astrology. You have to move back into that, of that accountability of your North Node, your personal North Node, as well as collectively what we have going on in astrology. So all of us have to move towards that North Node. Now, the reason I started doing astrology was because I started seeing patterns, and the patterns were, when am I going to have ascension? When am I going to have the communication coming in? When is it best not to? When is there agitation? Mars, Venus, okay? So the thing is, a lot of what you guys don't realize, and I'd love to ask a few questions right now, and please go through and vote. No shade, we want to know the reality. Now, the reason I ask these questions is from my process of reaching union and what I've gone through, I've developed these tools. Now, and I'm puffed out because I've run up the stairs. Plus I've got low iron. Okay, how do I explain it? What zodiac signs do we have in the house? I'll give you an example. To reach twin flame union, I asked, who wants to reach twin flame union? Do we know how to do that? Virgo, okay. Scorpio, Leo. Okay. Now, what are the main themes you believe are coming up for you at the moment for the zodiac signs? For you personally, what do you think the major theme is coming up in your life? What is that major theme? Yeah, that's because Venus is in Capricorn. I mentioned that on the previous video. Self, okay, moving. And what horoscope are you, mermaid wishes? Libra. Let me have a look. Yeah, that'd make sense. You got Capricorn in the 4th. And for Leo, okay, let me have a look at Leo's. And your true heart, Virgo. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example. Now, to be in mission, this is what we need to understand. Every one of us on the twin flame path will go and look at twin flame readings. Now, when I had my separation, I was doing twin flame readings per zodiac sign. And the reality is, what I found, and it was most frustrating for me, is that I was doing channeled messages. I was doing twin flames by zodiac. But the thing that I noticed, which is the biggest block in twin flame path, is if you don't focus on your mission, you don't meet twin flame path. And then when you are mad at your twin, it was getting taken out on the videos. So it would rise and it would drop in popularity. And it's not that I really care about that, but it's the work that you've got to put into those 12 zodiac signs. And if I'm doing 50 twin flame zodiac signs, and you're going to be mad at your twin, it is a given, because you are going to have ups and downs in your twin flame path. So in doing the work, what I came to realize on my twin flame path to reach union was to look at the shadow energy, was to look at the astrology, to see and to look at what I had to deal with on my path. Because number one, you will find when you move back into the twin flame path, you can't be codependent. You can have circumstances playing out where they may have, and this is just an example, they may have a world of debts on their side. You may have a world of debts on your side. You won't be able to be codependent. So if you have this belief system inside of you, which a lot of us do get to this, we're very tired through our ascension process. It is almost, and we know damn straight it's not a fairy tale. We're not in fairy tale land, okay? There's no magic wand in a sense that's going to come in. It's going to be beautiful, lovely, and perfect. There's work. And even in union, I'm telling you, there's work. It's horrible. It's that you come to it from a very different perspective because you're very detached. Not detached in a sense, I don't care about you, I don't love you. From a point that you realize when you are in fear-based frequency, or if you're in lack mentality and you've got fear bases about your career, or you feel you can't handle your family-related dynamics, you can't create healthy boundaries with your kids or with your family, with your siblings, it's a problem and it'll come back into the connection. So on twin side, anything that they have had blockages in, look at the mirror and you will also have that on your side. So what I found was, to a degree, 80% I would say of that I dealt with. And then I saw slight patterns repeating as we reached union. And then I was like, oh no. And again, I had a spiritual friend, Adam, big shout out to you. He had a beautiful moment with me one day. I was like so in the thick of it at this one point. Had a lot of crap going on with karmic. And I had a chat to him, and it would have been very late in the evening. And I was sitting on my stairs and I was watching a gum tree and it was blowing in the wind. And I just took this big breath in. And it's funny because how many of us forget to breathe through the process? So I took this breath in and I went, I just want peace. And I want to connect in. And it was funny because it had been so many months I was stuck in the office recording videos, doing updates. And the thing is, we need that perfect harmony and balance. And so meditation and having that spiritual practice, I had that in separation. And when I moved back in it, yet again, the karmic crap started happening again. And I was allowing, okay? And this is where feminines, you need to understand this. We have power, right? Now, it doesn't mean to say you can come through narcissistically so and say, you're not allowed to do that, but you can say, I don't want to do that. And you do need to learn to say that. All of you will get to that, trust me. So, and that's with everyone in your life. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you have a feeling and you are acknowledging that of what you feel. So when you are in a circumstance that makes you feel uncomfortable, it does make you grow. And obviously, because I'd done work on myself, I was like, no, I can understand this. But when it's constantly shifting and moving, where I was when I was in the separation to twin, I had 3 months videos recorded. When I reached reconciliation with him at the beginning, I had 3 months videos recorded. And I do that in a channeled sense so that if I'm sick, or if I need to take a break, I'm able to do that. And the pressure isn't there every bloody week, plus my ratings, that I can achieve that. So the thing that you guys don't understand is we've been here now for 6 months, from the moment the karmic interfered again and we have moved, I still have not managed to catch up from that. Now, I still do the videos. But the reason you have to understand what I'm trying to say is we all have to have balance. And those videos that I'm doing, what you need to understand is inside the zodiac signs, it actually gives you a map to the biggest hell that can be raining in on your zodiac. So if you're actually not looking at that, You're not prepared. So the way I reached my union, truthfully, honestly, Jen and Luciana teaching me about codependency, realizing when I was going into victim consciousness and I was super dirty and mad, it wasn't going to serve me. That I had to look at that shadow energy. And it would have been happening with a lot of people, a lot of situations. And while I was holding on to it, it was very painful to go through, right? So when a wound comes up, it feels like you're in the punching ring. And you believe you've let go of it. But then it comes back up again, and then you're like, oh God, am I going through this again? And then you work through it again even further. And you do feel mad, but then you realize you are the best, and this is what I'm trying to promote to you guys on my channel, is that, look, two things can happen. All of you will gain contact, point blank zero. You will. You're a twin, it happens. You don't need the tag. Try and disconnect from, if you are looking at the tag, it's to research and it's to understand, right? But try to not connect too much into the tag like it defines it. Separately to that, what I will say is when you are looking at it, sometimes we can get very perplexed and frustrated. We're like, oh my God, I'm a twin, I'm stuffed, you know. This is what it is. I even found that when I would have soulmate connections or any other connection, twin would come back. So it was like, I can't run from it. But I don't want to affect anyone else's life. Also don't want to affect mine. I don't. So I put myself in the naughty corner. It's like, okay, you need to do some healing work. Now, some of you will have twins and you don't have a romantic connection. Others of you had the romantic connection. Others of you maybe haven't been intimate, and intimacy, yes, apparently can activate it. What's another thing I can say? So with the reconnection, again, learning the healthy boundaries. Plus, usually, depending on where the astrology is at, your twin flame path and that cycle of reunion, will move through differently depending on the astrological aspects. Now, this year we do have Juno in Sagittarius. We also have the South Node in Sagittarius. So masculines are transforming of who they used to be because they're Sagittarius energy. Mars is also transited. So you may find that their ascension symptoms and their energy at the moment is very fatigued. They may be more hungry because they're going to go into a huge transit this year. They're going to be filling their energy. A lot of us potentially are, because it will be go, go, go. Now, if we can transform that energy, it's a bit harder at the moment because when I'm recording this video, we're in January. The things that can be coming through is people from the past, and it's because Venus is in Capricorn, and we had Capricorn there around 2018. Okay, so with certain zodiac signs, I'll say, Leo, you guys at the moment, you'll have, with your thoughts and your actions, you will be thinking about your relationships. You could have purgatory experiences where you, how would I say it? At the moment, you can have wounds relating to, okay, is this going to go the distance? Am I ever going to get married? The bonuses, you do have the 7th house activation. So yes, there's a potential you guys could get married this year, but you're going to learn a lot about relationships. Virgo, for you guys, you're needing to learn healthy boundaries. You're needing to speak your truth, and you're needing to understand that it doesn't mean that if you say no, or if you say how you feel, that you're a bad person. Okay, and giving too much doesn't mean getting. So it's detached from the outcome, because sometimes we can tend to look too far ahead and in the past, but we're not living in this moment of what has upset us, what is making us happy. We need to come back to this moment. Libra, you guys have just had the break from Venus, where you did have Aries there. So you're not the same Libra, okay? You'll probably hex and beast someone. You're not inclined to really muck about with stuff. You're just straight to the point. You're not going to have time for that, and that's masculines and feminines. You also have a lot going on when it does come to your resources with your intimate connections. You're wanting something deep. You don't want anything but deep, and if you don't have it, it's to the left. Separately, you can be looking at taxation and paperwork. Now, from the spiritual point of view, also when it comes to your relationships, You will have movement moving now. You'll be quite direct, but you can feel a little bit agitated at the moment because Uranus and Taurus is going direct. So again, you're seeing each other's sides, but you might be really up in your head at the moment about the devil in the detail because you've got Virgo on the 12th. Virgo, again, you're trying to be strong, but it's what's on the inside that counts, not just what you're showing. You've got to get yin and yang in balance there. So Virgo, yin and yang, get that in balance. Head and healthy boundaries and communicating, otherwise it's going to affect your health. Leo, you guys very family orientated, right? But again, you're going to have a busy year when it comes to contracts. So you might be dealing with a lot of things at the moment, and dealing with all those contracts, it can be really, really full on. Romantically speaking, Leos, again, as I mentioned, relationships. Scorpio, from the 6th to the 12th house is where your health is at. You have Aries in your 6th house. Now, things should ease up, but you do need to bear in mind not to go. Don't burn yourself out. Also, when it comes to you being perfect, you need to leave that at the door. It's not real, okay? You don't need to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be perfectly aligned like a good cookie cutter, because you got that on the 12th. If you try to do that, you'll go into burnout, and nobody expects that. So just let that go. Aries, you guys have had that there in the 1st house for ages. We've got Chiron and Aries there still, but as a twin, from a wound point of view, you may be more into your holistic energy, okay? With your holistic approach, you might, okay, let me break this down. You're very psychic in nature, but you may at times attempt to psychoanalyze everything and dissect it. Analytics wise, you want to, how do I put it? You want to know everything so you know what you're getting into. And look, things can shift and change, so be flexible with that. But you can find at the moment, your importance of your health is there. But sometimes it can be very analytical when you are communicating with these boundaries. It can feel like a little bit of a negotiation, but just be careful with your health, but don't be true to the point. You have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. Taurus, for you guys, you guys at the moment, with Aries, your psychology at the moment is taking a break. You may feel a little bit burnt out. You also do have this need for balance, but you could be really working too hard to create that balance. Also, with your exercise, don't overnuke, okay? Just really pay attention to that you don't burn yourself out. I'll just go through these quickly, and then we'll get back into the story of how my twin flame path's gone. If you guys don't want to hear this, just give me a heads up and I can stop right away. Gemini, again, you have Taurus on your 12th. Stop getting scared of finances. Just trust yourself. Trust that you're going to be able to achieve those things. At the moment, you could be really fearing it, not maybe communicating this to people. There also could be self-worth energy. But again, when it does come to the things that you're wanting to do, try not to worry too much. It's a vibration that's going through at the moment. You'll probably have that until the end of the month due to the fact that you've got it on your 12th house, and we've got 3 hitting placements at the moment in astrology that's in Taurus. So for you as a twin or a human being, that's going to be a little bit testing, but try not to look outside yourself. Mars really asks us, and that's one thing in twin flame path, keep an eye on Mars. Now, Mars transits this year the whole way through. It's transiting almost every 2 to 3 months, and we're going to have different flavors this year. Pay attention to it because it's going to relate to how potentially you can look outside of yourself. And from a spiritual union point of view, you have to self-master that. If you don't, you won't reach union. I'm being honest with you. When I had codependency there, it never worked. When I ran from the connection and tried to move into a newbie, and always come back again. Then when I reached a certain point, my ascension symptoms, it was empath energy, was on overload, and I could feel it all up in my grill, and I had no interest for it. It wasn't, that's my whole sole purpose. It was in the initial stage. in various times in my life, and then I moved into detachment. But then to a point in the journey, psychic attacks was large because I felt the every whim of everything. And I was not tuning into it. I was tuning into the collective and cards and doing readings and exercising. I was doing my garden, and it was full on. So for you guys that are experiencing that, I also have the private room that I do coaching in, which I will be doing it this week. And I'm also doing additional reads for the members at the highest level. There will be another twin flame private read. And I mean, the other day we had a small group in there. So I basically did mini reads for the members. And that was personal mini reads, which was great. Who was I up to? So with the ascension, as I mentioned, it was deeply interrupting. So you will learn to tune out. Some will say send love and light. I don't say that. I say tune out. Breathe it out, allow that person. Now, the thing is, when we do look at enabling, there was a circumstance in my twin flame path where I had tried to assist, right? Potentially did look at them like they needed help in situations. And I empathically had love and compassion due to that. But the thing is, to break a cycle, even if you're afraid, even if you're worried about what's going to happen, you need to let go and allow them to learn. It sounds weird, but it does work. And it's like, don't fear what you're saying, communicate. You've got a feeling, you need to step into the highest vibration and you need to communicate it effectively. I've got to break that down even further. So I had a garden accident today, so I'm going to break the thumb again. If you have something on your mind and you're mincing your words, you're wasting your time. You honestly are. In the initial stages, you do, because you're scared that, it's not going to go according to plan, or they're going to misunderstand what you're saying. Stop doing that right now. If you need to say something, disconnect from the outcome and you speak from your perspective, not from this is what I want and going into negotiation. If then you are finding you are communicating with your twin and they are not reciprocating, you need to still be okay with it and say, well, I've made my statement of what I'm looking for in my life and I respect what you're looking for, and you stand in your truth and you don't get scared. You step back and you own that truth and you live life. And the reason I say that is because people are scared to change, right? And we are on here on YouTube. Sometimes we're scared to change because we're scared that there will be a violent outcome. If you have done everything you have to this point and you haven't had a change, there's something in the mix. You keep making the same cake. The only thing you haven't done is, it can be enabling. It can be, what would the word be? Being authentic and honest, being to the point you can actually say to a person, I want the white picket fence and the babies. Might be something to that degree. It might, and then they say, oh, I don't really want that. That's okay then, but I've told you what I want, and then I'm not going to nag you. I'm going to just, and I'm not going to ghost you, I'm not going to block you, I'm just going to go do my thing, because what happens after that? They'll be thinking about it and going, she wants marriage, she wants babies. She's not calling me. I can't get the same X, Y, and Z now. And then they try and call you and go, it still stands where it stands. Anyway, I have to go. I've got things to do. And you don't go into privy information that hasn't been earned. You don't, because it hasn't been earned. You need to take it to a humanistic level. You're not negotiating. You made a statement of what your benchmark is. That's what I need. I love you, always will. But I love me. And you don't negotiate. Stop negotiating. You get mad at the fact that you're not getting what you want, but you're negotiating, and then they don't have to change those. And it's not your job to fix them. It is the energy of dropping the fear, because that's out of control. Their work is out of your control. The outcome is out of your control. The control you do have is how you relate to it. You're calm. You know your self-worth. If it comes up and you're in a trigger, you go do that work. so it never disables you again. And you don't tell yourself the stories of, oh my God, they're not going to call. Oh my God, what they're doing. Who are they talking to? Well, if it didn't work with you, it's heck not going to work with the karmic. Stop worrying about it. Let it go. Sit back, like my girlfriend used to say, grab a bag of bloody popcorn and watch the show. Because you're a high vibration person. Everyone has a different shape, right? Soul paths are very different. You know, some people will believe they're a twin unless you have those heavy ascension symptoms. You're potentially not, but it doesn't matter because all of us have codependency. We all do, even me. And I've still got to work at it. But if you don't do the work, you won't reach union. And if you don't do the work, you will attract a similar vibration to that person because it is. If we have blockages, we are attracted to a certain vibration. So we're more likely to attract a similar situation. And that's because we haven't broken that cycle. And I was saying to this to my daughter, because I do coaching with her as well, but more from a parenting point of view. It's like, oh, honey, you know. And, you know, she sees my viewpoints. It's my parenting style. But at the same time, you know, it's a bit like, oh, Demi Lovato, she goes, I can play him like a candle. Yes, 100% I can. But because I've been hurt in my life, I never, and that's the, you know, that's the manifestation energy as well. When you move to an ascended point, you don't need to manifest because you attract those things naturally. And you have been naturally attracting all the lower vibrations a long time. And that's why at a karmic level, if you've been scared that your twin's going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. They are. You're going to attract it because you need to address that fear and confront it. What would that mean? Does that mean in a 3D level it's over forever? Not necessarily. If you're scared that they're never going to heal and always going to be sick, yeah, you're going to attract that. Let it go. And just understand that it's a bit like a ship sinking. We all have choices in life. I had a doctor one time tell me something, and I had a mentally ill auntie, and I've worked in healthcare, etc. And you know, there was a counselling situation with a family member, and they says, "Oh, you know, how would you feel if X, Y, and Z happened with this person?" And I went, "Well, I would not know." Because usually if a person is to the point that they want to hurt themselves, they're never going to tell you. They're just not, and it's completely out of your control. So in life, our circle of concern, which is what the YouTuber I mentioned, you know, our circle of concern, this domain here, if you find yourself looking over to twin, looking over to your mum and dad, your siblings, any of those, if you trigger them, that's a them issue. It's not a you issue. So the black sheep of the family energy, it only affects us because we believe it. When we disempower that and we release that, we've actually made peace with it. That's why making peace with your wounds is so important, is because they will disable you. You're living with them and you're giving them permission to live inside you. And it's a lot of work to work on them, I'll be honest, to a point you won't want to look at a partner's phone, even if they have betrayed you before, even if you had 100 people betray you, because you don't, that is not your job. Don't own that. You are handing them the baton and you're saying, I'm giving you permission to have a connection with me based on the assumption that X, Y, and Z occurs, and not 24/7 think about it, going, no, I'm going to drop that because I'm not owning another person's job. My job in my life is hard enough, and I'm going to shift all my beautiful energy over here into me. And if you stuff up, that's on you, and I won't own it. And that's a missed opportunity for you. I know I've come to it openly and cleanly to give this situation a try, and that's with anyone in life, guys. To the point you disengage and you say, this is the point we gave it, now I'm accepting it. Now, when it does come to other people, if you have been dealing with a twin that has been in a karmic cycle and you have been engaging, they don't need to change. Why? Because they've got you and they've got that, and there's something vibrationally inside them at a codependent level that they're scared. They don't want to hurt someone. They don't want to break that society's standard. So they don't have to address it because you're giving them the love that they need and they're pretending in a lie. So how do you get that union? You step back and you don't enable, and you get your union. And you say from a distance, I do love you. I am not interacting. I want the whole cake. And I have respect for your process, but I can't. I want more. And you deserve more. You should want to have more for yourself. And I know it's hurtful. We've all been there. But to be able to address that. Another situation, if you just won't articulate to your twin because you're scared of how they might react, initially you may get a reaction that you don't like, but because you've planted that seed, once you then shift all your energy onto you, again, after you've made your statement, it could be, hey, I want to settle down with you. I want to do X, Y, and Z with you. You then transfer, they then always, and it always happens this way. You guys should look at your routine. Look at your twin flame path. The writing's on the wall. It's happened so many times. So what I'm saying to you is not a lie, because you can resonate with this. You say something to them and they totally fob it off, and then 2 weeks later they're talking back on your page again. Because the reality is you plant the seed. You don't expect a masculine to make up his mind right away. You've already made up your mind. You've given them a bunch of information in a book, right? And they're like, what? The automatic reaction, yeah, of course we want the automatic reaction, but when a person's healing, it's not going to come through right away. Depends on where they are in the journey. Let it go, okay? Then ignore it and move forward. And as you move forward, they're going to be like, oh, she loves herself. She knows what she wants. She's going to go get it. She's a go-getter. Automatically, that is going to become extremely attractive because you have been honest enough to be authentic to the person without expectation. And then you've gone and done your thing. Well, I love you beautifully. I'd really like to do that with you, but I'm going over here. I'm just going to move forward. And you don't put crappy photos up about how miserable your life is, because you're giving them information that they haven't earned. We treat people how to teach us, how to treat us. We do. And the initial energy of twin flame connection, it's nothing like that. It's feminines is really drawn, and it feels abnormal. It really does. You don't have that in a circumstance. You're more controlled and rational, and you do feel love. And in the connections you had moved into, you do feel love. But this is a very different paradigm in a twin flame path. It's very bizarre. Another example I can give you. Give me some examples that you guys are experiencing while I look at Cancer. Cancer at the moment, oh, goosebumps. You guys can tend to get to a point that you second guess your communication. But again, if there is a circumstance in your life, you've got to look at the ratio, right? Number one, the ascension symptoms is one thing. I'll honestly tell you that. So that work you do with your energy ascension symptoms, thanks, Star. So the energy ascension symptoms that you're dealing with, that's so you can be coherent and deal with life. At a separate level, also, what was I saying? You then have the work inside your life. Now, if you find in your focus of day-to-day life, you're going to think about it 24/7. But if you're not even giving 10% to your life, you're not going to be able to move through your ascension symptoms, as fast, and it's going to stagnate your journey. So you do need to get to a point with your ascension symptoms. You deal with them as they come up. But then you do need to redirect the energy back into your life and keep doing that. And you'll find the yanking, right? And it will move the ascension a lot faster. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because a lot of you may not know how to reach union. That's the reason why I put the questionnaire up, to see what sort of content you want. Now, I have noticed, like I said, 2017, 18 people, by about 19 moving into 20, people were dirty at the twin flame path. And I was going into a lot of effort of making zodiac signs, zodiac sign by zodiac sign for twin flames. I'll get to your question in a minute, Dale. So zodiac sign by zodiac sign, I may go into lives and elements. I'll do psychic readings, but I will not do twin flame week by week, due to the fact that when you do have ups and downs on the twin flame path, it's not going to serve you. It won't. And it will reach It'll go up and it'll go down. And that's better for a coaching session, because unless you know your blockage, you're not going to move through your ascension. So we can look at videos, point blank zero. The videos that I do on here is to help you guys reach a union. The astrology is going to help you reach a union. That's what you're not understanding. And if all the energy is looking at, and I don't want to be condescending, and the reason why I say this is because A, I'm a twin flame. B, I am in union. Now, for those of you that have followed me, I was out of union when I started YouTube. I was in a relationship. My relationship broke down. I went into separation. I then moved. I then reached reconciliation with twin. Go back and look at the videos. I then publicly had my separation. I then publicly had my reunion. So what I teach you on here is to reach a union. And if you don't do the work, you won't reach union. You don't have to go into union, okay? You will reach an ascended state. And they say this. You go look at the text on it. They say this. You will not have to, because it is a choice. And you will come to a very peaceful place. You will no longer be angry if you're allowing your body to heal. But if you're not, it's going to be a very toxic way to live. How do you detach? You do the work. You can't be obsessive. You need to look at the ratio of how much you are looking at it and what symptoms are coming up. If you're getting to a point, you're looking at it, and it's natural for it to come up all the time, but it's also mind mastery of coming back to that self-worth energy. I'm important too. And we do, honestly. And he's still my king, don't get me wrong, but I have myself very low on the food chain. He was miles up here, which he's still my king. But I'm my queen now inside my own life. And that detachment is, if you're going into that spiraling energy of, what if they move on with someone else? What if they have babies? I've had all of it happen. I've had karmics, I've had babies, I've had toxic situations happen, affairs. I've had it all, and I'm not dead yet, right? And I mean, I'm crazy karmics in my life, and that's, God bless them, go do you. Now I have no interest in it. The healthy boundaries is, I'm just doing me. If you mess your life up, karmics, that's on your head. Really is. I have no time for it. Is counterpart twin. What can I do to have? Look, I think, how do I put it? But even before I knew I was a twin, when I met this person, there was something, and I was unable to detach. So I don't never, ever, ever go into, you'll know if you're a twin. And it will be to the point that person comes up in your mind, you start having dreams about them further into the ascension. I don't actually believe in false twins. I really don't. But the thing is, you can actually go into different connections, and that one person who activated you, which is your freaking twin, their energy will come through in other people, because if you've ran from your twin, or they've ran from you, and the blockages were there, it will come up in a spiritual sense with other people. And that's why you can't avoid twin flame paths. So you don't need the tag number one, ditch that number one. But number two is, you are a twin from birth. And so those blockages, even if we were to just look at chakras and not talk about twin flame journey right now, in a law of attraction energy field, even therapists will explain this to you. If you have blockages and belief systems and fear-based frequencies, you can attract those vibrations into your life. You just know. It's just, it's hell, There's been a few YouTubers I was talking to, Goodwill, and I won't name names, but, and it's, like I said, I've been on this journey well and truly over 20 years, in and out, and then plus from birth. So from a psychic point of view, you are psychic, and you need to learn to develop that. You also need to learn how to develop your empath energy. Don't run. Don't chase. And you're running and chasing at the same time. So masculine's running on the outside, feminine's, you're running on the inside. So the runner chaser, it's you're both running. but you're just doing it in a different way. So for me personally, inside my twin flame path, when he was about to run, I was freaking the heck out, and I was going, this is getting overwhelming. Why? Because I was running from inside. Turn that down, Shanae. I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, Shanice. Keep it down, please. Kid Stefan, I'm so over the school holidays. It's so funny because I had spiritual blockages to do with babies. I always wanted to have babies with my twin. I'm perfectly healed over it now. Too many years of single parenting, I think. Okay, I will answer the question above in a moment. My TF has 2 karmics. He lives with her and she won't even let me be friends. You don't want to be friends, Dale. You don't need to be friends because then, like I said, it's not changing the recipe. And it's not her, it's him. Because again, when we look at them as victim, it's enabling. He has power, okay? Again, he has power. So as much as it's his power to say, okay, is there a circumstance outside of me that I can transform? If she's unwell, could somebody else care? Can I do this forever? Number one, in the ratio level. I'm an adult. So, whatever that is, you can start mirroring that. So you can be, to a degree, emotionally, looking at the mother as the karmic and what she's doing and looking at him as, oh, gee, she won't even allow me to be friends. And then on the other side, you're having compassion for that. So it's the same as what the mother's doing. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like breaking it and going, okay, well, if you really don't like that, at some point you're going to hate it that much, you're going to jump back out. Yeah, because we are our own karmic inside our life. So we attract a karmic due to the fact we have karmic frequency inside us of blockages. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not safe, and mum's not going to be here forever. We're not going to be here forever. And we do break that cycle. We have to, otherwise we live a very low vibration life. Yeah. And that's what I used to say about mine. I would have friends come to me and say, oh, he doesn't look too good. I said, no, he's stubborn like me. And I said, I'm not going to be in my ego that I'm the strongest one. It's not true. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's horrible to go through, but we do get sorted off at a point and we transform and change because we outgrow things. It's a natural cycle. So Cancer at the moment, your psychology relating to maybe things that have said in the past. Also, when it does come to your contracts, be a bit more open. What do I mean by open? You underestimate yourself. Don't feel it's all on you. And if you have an issue with people chucking burdens on you, get to a point you actually say to people, look, is that my responsibility? But in a sense, Cancer, you guys have been taking way too much responsibility. You can't change others, right? They've got to change themselves. That's the healthy boundary energy is people looking at you as a bank. You're not their bank. Yeah. Okay, Sag, what's your bugbear at the moment? The other one for Sag would be, and I'm going to have to go to bed in a minute, jeez. You guys really have these grand ideas, but you could really be assessing things. And look, maybe people in the past have taken money from you. Maybe again, money has been the bugbear. Give and take, and maybe people using and abusing you or not paying you what you're worth. That should transform this year. But just make sure you create healthy boundaries, create that balance and that routine with that cash component and self-worth energy as well. And if you work hard, your creative ideas, don't feel that all the time people are going to steal it. Find those connections that are great for you so that, you can really express that in a very deep level. But have faith. And when it comes to money, make sure that you don't get stuck and that, how do I put it? Scorpio in the 12th, you can be very psychic in nature, but 12th house can be the house of our undoing. So to a degree, it could be taxes, debts, endings, not allowing that cycle to transform, and try not to take it personal. Allow the new energy to come through and allow that to not hinder you from feeling, hey, it's forever. But do trust that, really. But please do vote. The reason I asked is because, like I said, how I reached union was astrology. And that was by knowing what the transits were. And anytime I was focusing too much on twin, I still do the live twin flame channel messages of synchronicities, things, coaching, but your chakras, the astrology mentions what you need to focus on. Now, if you're not in alignment, each cycle as the nodes shift, you're going to have a whole lot of karmic crap coming up. And it's going to be horrendous, and it's not going to help you make twin flame journey. So the whole reason I started that process was for your ascension symptoms. It was for your twin flame path. It was to keep in alignment and address the things that were going to come at you at left field. And with the transits, if you don't focus on them, again, they are part of the toolkit. I don't have to do them, but you should really look at the transits. The transit's going to tell you where your bedlam's going to come from. We do have at the end of the year Venus going retrograde in Capricorn. So this month, what you guys are experiencing, we're going to be tested upon it at the end of the year. And this is with these connections. Plus, Juno's testing masculine at the moment, theoretically, because Juno is in Sagittarius. So, just be open. Be Juno, but be open. And it didn't mean that because I was doing the astrology, I wasn't going to be doing the twin flame and I wasn't going to be doing romance reads. But you've got to understand how long these videos take to record. And as I mentioned, when I had separation, I had 3 months ahead. Then I went back into union. Those 3 months went backwards. Then we had issues with the karmic. We've moved. And we've had Christmas, we've had all of 2020. It's been bedlam for bookings. It's been non-stop. So I've only really started that process probably in the last 4 weeks to get these videos done. Probably all of February I will be recording to get a good 3 months done. And then when I have that window and I've got your lives coming up, I've got your twin flame videos and things to that degree, romance reads. The intent with the astrology was to add those also. But I do think some of you are thinking that all it's going to be is astrology, and that's not what I said. It's going to be, but if you don't want astrology, I'm not going to waste my time. So please do vote, because that has taken me 6 months in writing it up. But if you aren't interested, I just won't do it. But I'm perplexed because I reached my union through astrology. I'm perplexed. Dealing with codependent patterns, not enabling, looking at circumstances of the ascension process with Schumann resonance, the astrology. So some people haven't liked them. Some people do. Yeah, I do want to know, but I think some of you, it's hard. Look, there's a few YouTubers that have reached union. I have looked back at my life of the process I went through and patterns, right? But I also knew at a very karmic level, when I didn't deal with the areas in my life karmically to come up and haunt me even worse. And it's really funny because when you're in reunion, you do so bloody great. It's really weird. And you're like, why they want to go into separation, can't I? Because you've still got your energy over there. And you've got it in the wrong domain. You need to shift over here to reach union. So the more you shift over there, the more you're in the past. So the past keeps repeating. The more you come back to this one moment, yes, something will come up. You'll go back to the past. You need to come back to this one moment. You've got to self-master to get that done real quick. Like I said, that's where the readings, the coaching, blockages I can assess in your twin flame readings, the private sessions I do, I've got, I would say I've got 900 to 1,000 regular clients of the coaching that I do. So, you guys that know me regularly, if I'm asking you all the time, what's your zodiac sign? I know you. But again, I'm not going to retain that just for the sake of retaining it. So with the coaching, we work through that. I can key point where your blockage is, what's coming up at that time, show you where the mirror is. You go away and you do the work. You come back again and you're moving. You're changing. Some of you will put that video up on YouTube in the members zone. And that's because I can't look at that video anymore. It makes me laugh, but it is a point in my journey prior to union. I lost it. And I was calling it like it was. And it was like, it's an awesome watch. I've got a tie on. Stefan was there, I'm pretty sure. And I was just saying it how it is for that group of masculines, and level up, and this is what you need to do, and I won't be a man. And I wore a tie because the thing is, we were embodying too much masculine energy. And to be feminine, to be getting into union, if you're a feminine and you're in separation, because it could be a masculine that's in separation, that's embodying the feminine. We've got both, right? So the analogy I took was, I am embodying the masculine, and it's like, I'm not going to be the masculine. I won't take responsibility for that. I'm going to go into my feminine. I do want the door open for me. And that's just theory, right? But yes, I will allow to receive. I don't need to be the giver all the time. I can be the receiver. I can be the emotional empath, but I'm not going to lay down like a carpet and anyone can walk over me. No. It's not okay. And you will get angry because you have to own your power. 6th house placement. So 6th house placement, like I said, Taurus, healthy boundary, Sag, healthy boundaries with money, healthy boundaries in businesses and work, healthy boundaries when it comes to excess. Capricorn, healthy boundaries when it comes to your daily routine and people not mucking it up. Communication, people calling you 24/7. Running around for people and doing things. Healthy boundaries. Aquarius. Healthy boundaries with family, with feminine energies. And look, this can be for self as well. It doesn't have to be that the family are the perpetrator, because there's victim-perpetrator energy. It can be the opposite side. Are you overbearing in that? Or is it they're overbearing with you? It's learning that routine, creating a healthy routine surrounding family and working with that domain, becoming part of that. And again, we can't always pick our family. Pisces, yours links to, again, sometimes one can come across too strong. Other times, we're needing other people to be strong, or they're expecting you to be strong all the time. So it can go left, right, it can go both sides. But you do have to pay attention to your heart chakra, Pisces. So anyway, there was a question further up. I better answer it. This is a blooming long video, so apologies. But I will be doing tools and tricks to actually... Is my counterpart, is my twin, and do we have a soul contract? Can a karmic... Are you talking between two people? My counterpart twin... It's a bit confusing, Dale. You're going to have to say that a bit clearer. Is there two energies you're asking about for the one that donated? And those of us that are on the fence between two paths, that don't work either. We have to decide, because you'll get no movement either side. Nothing will move. It's like doors will close. So if you're psychically, spiritually trying to come to terms with something in the past, you'll have no movement. You'll be thinking, hey, they've got a karmic, but I've got no one. Why? Because you're psychologically healing a wound. I'm just going to answer the ladies above. I think it's a ladies or a man's. There was a question. I can't pronounce the name. I'll see if I can... I can't really do anything to it. And then I'll... Well, I'll wait till they come through. Why has TF stopped communicating with me at the moment? Because we have the nodes, not the nodes, because we have Venus and Capricorn. Feminines and masculines are clearing past karma. So at the moment, it's stagnant, it's quiet, because until it goes like the new moon, we're purging, we're looking at it, old things are coming up, we're reflecting. It's a very separate energy. We've got the sun in Capricorn, which is males. We've got the moon in path, feminine energy in Capricorn. So we're doing the same thing, and we're looking at our life. We're looking at the past when it relates to karmic situations, burdens, responsibilities, what accountability meant, where we've stuffed up in our life, what we've got to fix. And every zodiac sign's experiencing that. So that the quietness at the moment is due to that. I choose my twin, so why then is my karmic giving me such a hard time to move out? Because you've chosen. And because that path is over. So it's about standing in that truth and allowing that ending to happen. And because the Capricorn energy is there, it's marriages, contracts, partnerships. What's your zodiac sign, Dale? It's like we can't put one foot in one door and one foot in the other. Do you know what I mean? When we've chosen, we have to embody that choice. And our soul path will force us to deal with that. So karmics, and be it they're karmic or not, it will be a request for that movement. It's like, okay, put your money where your mouth is, then move forward to that. So we have to embody that and tackle that. It's almost like in this twin flame path, it doesn't work. Gemini. Okay, well, Geminis were potentially having transformations in their connections this year because the South Node was in Sagittarius and it was ending old cycles. So in the relationship sector, with your work, with your friendship groups, with the things that you deemed as luxury, can be selling assets as well. That's transforming this year, and that did start last year around May when the nodes shifted. So in a separate sense for Gemini, yes, separations were a potential, but it was something that may have already been leading up to that, prior to May last year, and it could have been playing out this year, especially with Mars retrograde, tension points and connections. And you don't need to wait for twin to be ready. Trust me, if you move forward, it happens real quick. But it's because you have this fear-based frequency, but what if they don't come? What if they don't? You're still not happy in the current relationship. Because it's not about a twin. It's about where you are in your life and prioritizing, going, no, no, no. This isn't about another person. It's not about a soulmate, a karmic. Because we have been appeasing. We've been nations of appeasers. We very rarely ask ourselves how we feel because we have guilt or fear. So once we can remove that and we can come back inside ourselves and go, okay, I'm not going to tell myself all these scary stories. How am I going to provide for myself financially? What if I regret it? Well, you've lived it for usually, if you've been in a connection a long time and it really hasn't worked, you're pretty much tapped out, but you're kind of staying there nostalgically. So it's comfort. It's like you're in a bird nest. Once it reaches that point, that person that is your karmic potentially can't be around you any longer. So they're like, okay, well, do me a favor then. Don't keep being here when I know you want to go somewhere else. And it's only what's genuinely fair. Okay, let me honestly put it this way. How do you know if they're your twin? Number one, do you need a tag to know and for somebody else to tell you who you love? The crazy thing is, sometimes we psychoanalyze it and we need a tag, right? But the thing is, this is what no YouTuber can ever and should ever tell you. And we shouldn't give our power away in that situation. Who do you love? And look, if you want to know if they're your twin, you potentially can see signs and synchronicities. You can see numbers. You can have dream state and astro travel with that person. You can get psychic attacks from them. You can be petrified of them. Other energies you can get. What would be a different one? Repulsed and enlightened. What would another one be? The other thing is, it's just this, you just know. Yeah, psychic attacks though, definitely. But you won't need a tag, and never get to a point somebody has to tell you. Go into that energy of, okay, how do I feel about this person? Do I need to, because I've heard of coaches that are, calling in for readings and they'll tell you if it's your fake twin flame. Do you need someone to tell you who you can and can't love? You know the spiritual connection. Nobody can ever tell you that. And if you're having psychic connections and things like that, you're a twin. Nobody can tell you. It's true, repulsing a lot. Sometimes you're like, oh, really? Oh. Yeah, so you'll feel serendipity, like you know them, and you'll be like, well, I've told my twin when I first met him, I was like, and it was funny because it was like, don't put baby in the corner. I'm still waiting for the other person to bloom. If there's, yeah, so for the first person that asked the question, you better be quick or else I'm going to have to, yeah, wait till I'm back here again to answer it, and just drop in the house and message me, and I'll give you, you know, I'll be able to explain to you what the question is, but I don't understand what the question is. Is there two people? A card for you. Okay. I will have, it's funny because like, Isidore, it's already saying it in the card. You've got your foot in one door and a foot out the other. You need to choose. You can't. Psychologically, if you're blocking it, it can be internally, right? Because you can be thinking about past tense person, you haven't come to terms with it. Maybe there's something there still that needs addressing. And you can have the foot in twin door, and you can have the foot in the past spiritually, but the twin's off with somebody else, but you're off with somebody else. Because it's all about healing its energy. You know, so Isidore, you know, it's, have you made peace with the past? It's underway, just walk out. Is there anywhere you can go? I mean, I had my divorce and I was away from my connection, and that allowed that person to heal. It's very hard to be in the same household with the person when you've said, look, my feelings have changed. You can still be in love with the person, but just something's changed, you know? And it just gets to a point, it can be very bipolar for them. It can really take them up and down. Sometimes it can be handy from a healing. But again, remember, that's a wound for them. They know you're leaving them, and they're watching the time tick down day by day, and it's very painful. So it's like pull the thorn out, make peace with it, you know. And the thing is, I remember looking back when I chose to separate. That person had been an amazing person in my life, and that was the hardest choice to make because something in me had changed, and it wasn't about twin, it wasn't about anything, it was me. Something in me had changed. There was a circumstance that went down, and I think the biggest thing was, how do you hurt someone who's never hurt you? I was like, how do you do that? And the thing is, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting them by not choosing. And just know, by you actually making peace with that, you're giving them room to have a life. Same household, he won't move. I can't leave. I have two kids and I'm paying the mortgage. But the thing is, like, after, what you're going to find is this isn't going to resolve, and it's going to make your twin flame path really complicated. Because if it can't be resolved with both of you coming to a consensus, it's still going to complicate your connection. It's going to complicate the kid's life, and that's why a lot of YouTubers don't talk about it. Karmic partners, you have children, trying to work that through, coming to a negotiation. Many twins can't. There's so much BS that goes on inside of twin connections with children, and it can be on the karmic side. You know, you may have all, you can't level up for another person. You can't, because again, it's the same thing as enabling twin. You're enabling the karmic now. And due to the fact that you're wanting to give more than what dad or mother could give, and you're like, I have to do this because they can't. I have to do this, but you know what I mean? And to a degree, it's never a sort of dynamic that can be there forever and a day. It can't. And it's not healthy for them. It's not healthy for the children or for you or for any new connection coming into your life. So it makes for a messy situation. So the best thing I can suggest, and it's a suggestion because I've been through it myself, is address this now. You need to look at it, and you need to be very open to that person that you won't be single forever, and this needs to be addressed, and some healthy boundaries need to come to play. That you will need your time, that you will need to deal with what the house is going to be. Yeah, and look, you know the horrible thing? We can't make a perfect world. We can't. And the thing is, how do you know that those circumstances didn't have to happen to certain people in our lives for them to be the individuals they were meant to be? Some people have had horrible things happen. What if they transmuted that into their counselors? Some people are doctors. Some people are scientists. Why? Because they came from an experience. It shifted them, it motivated them, and it moved into that. So in ego, we can say that's not fair. Two children, two karmics, to us. But everything happens for a reason. You've got to trust it. We can't make it perfect. And the thing is, if we are, we're preventing them in bubble wrap of ever getting that in relationships. They can be beautiful. There's ways we can, there's ways we can't. We can still bless the past of the connections, but we definitely can move forward with poise and integrity in our own side. Not necessarily with, other people. We can't own that. That's up to them how they react to it. But you can wish the best. And you can try and you can test different things working with individuals. Joint families, I mean, the success rate when you look at it is really low. Which is super scary. It's very overwhelming, especially for me in a twin flame path. I mean, I've got a daughter, he's got 5 kids, and loved them to bits, but karmic did not want to work with us. So it is very difficult, but you can't own that. You're not, if the kids are on a partner's side, you can't own that because you'll never be their parent. And I'm not saying you can't embody that and be that, but if a parent is here in that DNA flesh, you can be their friend, but you can never replace that, and you can't fight that cycle, and you can't be part of that equation of that battle. Yeah. But yeah, my suggestion would be start addressing those devils in the details, especially with Capricorn and Venus at the moment. Get through that. This is going to be a full-on 3 weeks, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. In the astrology, there's heavy hitting energies. It's more tension. It's more like, oh, your tire popped, bang, you've changed it. Oh, the next day the battery's dead. You're like, heck. It's one of those 3 weeks. Burnout, slow burn, frustration. Yes, Uranus and Taurus by the 14th, something sudden can happen. Yeah. So do you have a time frame that you can sell it, or there's a great, I would say between now and I'd say the 27th is a good time for working on money related dynamics. And then after that, you've got to wait till the um, 21st of February for documentation movements and things like that. Gemini, let's have a look at your chart. For home related dynamics. Yeah, make sure you got your paperwork in order. Where's the sun transit? We've got sun in Capricorn. Okay, you'll have major. Okay, here's a bit of a tip. When it does come to, if you did want to deal with major things like further in the year and you're thinking, gee, I'm never going to have a house, a real benefiting time can be for you will be around, let's have a look, the end of June, moving into July, all the way through to September. And that's because we're going to have Mars in Virgo. You'll have a lot of energy to pour into building assets and getting houses and things. So it's not saying it's not moving, but sort of aftermath, if you're kind of like, oh, look what I got left, you'll have that pocket there that you can really pour new energy into that and actually manifest that moving forward. Mm. I know, Dal, it's sucky. Mm. I don't know. Because we're having the moon in Capricorn, for you guys, you do have Capricorn on your charts over there, and you were having a Pluto return. So, if anything, it could be a lot of dynamics, really. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. That may have been last year, but at the moment, you guys can have a lot of energy being poured into your food and resources. But home is very different at the moment. That can come up again, maybe a bit later. But there's not a huge focus on that at the moment. But there is to do with endings, taxation, and resources. I would say around April the 23rd. In America, it would be a good time relating to energy of accommodation. So again, selling and things like that. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, but astrologically speaking, that would be the better point. Oh, thanks, Sway. There you go. Yeah, and I think a lot of the healing relating to our past, even if we had already had divorces, a lot of those things are coming up, and that's for everyone. So just be really gentle to yourselves at the moment. I've had clients say to me that they've been waking up crying. I had that, last night. It was like, no, it wasn't to do with twin, it was to do with a totally different thing. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? It's purging. There's ebbs and flows, but there's peace and you're trying to correct your compass. We're trying to get our compass back in order and start moving. And some of us are very unmotivated. It's like, oh God, we kind of landed here and then it's like, yay. And then it's like 2021. Yay? Is this it? Okay, let's not put too much expectation there. It's early days yet. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. The person that did message me has not responded. So I feel kind of bad, but my twin counterpart is a twin, and do we have a soul contract? Well, if you're a twin, you do have a soul contract. Can it be a karmic? The karmic energy is what you've got to purge. And until you purge your blockages, you relate to each other karmically. M Virgo female, and he is a Leo man. So is it you're a Virgo female and he's a Leo man? From the Virgo perspective, again, healthy boundaries. You may give too much to individuals. You may stand for truth and be very firm with things. But also, don't try and make everything perfect. If you know what I mean. You don't need everything perfect. And don't be so hard on yourselves at the moment. You don't have to be strong for everyone. People can be strong for you too. And the Leo, they'll be ready for a connection this year, but wounds at the moment Leos can be having coming up. That's okay. Go vote. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just saying you need to understand the importance of checking your astrology to keep you on point. If you don't, all these things can come at you, and before you know it, if you're not paying attention to your lane, it's really important, right? If you don't pay attention to your lane, you're not going to move through your ascension. Situations can come at left field. And I always know, when they're coming up. So go vote. The tribe, the consensus will count, and we'll see what the new content will be. And thank you for the likes. I know this is a real long video, but it's hopefully somebody relates to something inside of this and it helps them on the twin flame path. And again, if you're wanting more information relating to it, plus don't enable your twin. Don't negotiate with it. What do you want? Where are you at? Come through. I can do coaching with you, or you can join the private room. I can do coaching there, which this week, yes, for the members, I will be doing that. And I better go. I love you a lot. Take care.